Time's up, Admiral.
Here it comes.
All kids out of the pool for Adult Swim. All kids out.
Lego Lord of the Rings Balrog raised eyebrows for what some fans say is an unfortunate pose. I see it. I see it. Oh, I see it. It's taking a piss on Gandalf.
You shall not!
And he says to her, listen, you got a fine white girl ass. So I don't like the look of this D. Listen, I don't need gay or straight boner pills. My boner works just fine.
Before you go, one question.
Yes?
Where in the galaxy is Sanusi?
Show us your tits and I'll tell you.
I want to see boobies! I think I've died and gone straight to honker heaven. Boobs are amazing.
Hi! It's cold. It's cold and I'm sort of snowed in. Howdy, all. Welcome to the Daily Dive, the Double D's, where we fight to protect that which we love. We got an interesting show for you guys today. I got some thoughts I want to share. We're going to get slightly political again because the stands force us to. At the same time, we do have a chat made me watch this reviews, Tiptoes, and I know exactly why you schmucks made me watch this movie. I know exactly why, and you're children. You are children. All of you involved in this one. You're all children. Anyway, so we got that, and of course, we got the news and my thoughts from my initial monologue into this and that. So it should be an interesting show today, and it is cold out there. Man. Fortunately, though, I didn't lose any power. I was good through the whole thing. The storm that hit here wasn't terrible over Saturday into yesterday, from Saturday night through yesterday. It was just kind of coming down and then turned into sleet, icy sleet. And it's fine. I just wish my excuse me. I just wish my stupid complex would shovel the fucking sidewalk already so I could get out to my car and start to dig it out. Because see, that's the thing. I pay ungodly amounts of rent here for nothing, essentially. So it would be nice if they did what they said they were going to do and clear the stairs, shovel the sidewalk. Because they already, when they plowed the main drive, they already plowed all the snow up behind everybody's cars, including mine. So it's already stupid that I got to deal with that. Oh, we're not responsible for that, but you did it. And it's not quite sunny, so the sun's it's gonna be sunny all week. By the end of the week, UV rays will have melted most of this shit down, but it's still a pain in the ass. So I'm gonna have to get out there later this afternoon before the sun goes down, and I'm gonna have to kick in. The car is not really that. It's got a little bit of on the top. The sides are actually pretty clean. I'm gonna have to start to have a shovel because I refuse to buy a snow shovel when I'm planning to leave this fucking swamp tundra of a state. So I've refused to buy a thing. Anyway, so either way, I'm going to go out there and use my size 13 boots to kick snow around my car a little bit. Anyway, so we got that. And I'm sorry, I don't completely believe you guys. I mean, it was just, and honestly, the movie's just dumb. What's the pain? It's just a poorly written, poorly acted, terrible character movie. It was just boring. I don't know what. I'm serious. Did you guys think I was gonna be going like this whole time? Oh my god! No, I sat there like this. Boring. That's all it was. It's just a dumb, boring movie. I think you guys need to reevaluate what you think is going to cause me pain and what isn't. So. Anyway, so we got stuff to talk about, and the rules are the rules. They remain the same. $10 gets you an Adam rant on just about anything. We try to keep it within a nerd space, though. Then we've got $15 get you instant hot take reaction to an article we see in the news. One you may have sent me, or you can ask me a question. I'll tell you no lies. We'll have discussion. And then, of course, $35 gets you chat. Made me watch this reviews. And we do have $15 from Kratos. We have an article he has sent me. We will get to that after the news. We'll see what that is. I don't know what it is yet. I have not brought it up because that's the surprise factor. Anyway, but I do want to talk about this now. I do have some things to discuss here. Kind of continuing thought process from the discussions we've been having on this stream, on roundtables, stuff like that, about fans. What are fans in that? And we had a discussion yesterday. How do they get to their fantasy worlds they live in? And I think one of the key aspects that we got from that discussion is these people define themselves by their ideology and therefore reinforce it by injecting it into what they call entertainment. And once again, unfortunately, we must reference the events going on in Minnesota today, just like we did last time this shit came around. And I want to also connect this to the idea of being terminally online. Terminally online, it's a mental illness. And if there's one thing I can see when talking about the type of individuals we're going to talk about today, the type of people who need to have Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who, Lord of the Rings, everything. The fact that they need that stuff to represent their ideology in order to reinforce it in their very, very low IQ brains. They all are useful idiots. Each and every one of them. They are manipulated by the commie Marxist forces that have them go out there and cause chaos, anarchy, mayhem. To go out there and muddy the waters of discussion. To go out there and scream, scream, scream because they know these idiots are terminally online. They live on X. They cry about X all the time. Oh my God, this is a terrible platform. And it is. It's not a great platform. We're on there by necessity. If I could not be on X, I would love it. But, oh my God, I'm leaving this terrible platform run by the fascists. Yet here they are, constantly screaming, fuck this, fuck that, spurging out constantly. They cannot get away because they need that endorphin rush. They need that dopamine hit of knowing that somebody reacted to their post, that somebody left a comment, that they're engaging with other smooth-brained, useful idiots. And we have a prime example. I saw this one last night. I know it's making the rounds today, but I did see it last night. And you could check because I commented last night. I did a quote tweet of it last night. This one's making the rounds by a familiar whore. Once again, we get to interact with the wannabe ethot M. Used to call herself M Kenobi. She's M. We've interacted with her before. And just remind you, after we've had every other incident in the world, she has cried, she has wailed, she's called everybody a fascist or racist and that, and said, I'm leaving X. Enjoy your platform. Well, here she is. She never went anywhere. She came back because she needs those figurative X dicks in her face because she's a wannabe whore. But here she is. Like every other single programmed useful idiot. She is responding to the events of the weekend where a dude got shot, resisting arrest, and being armed. That's the truth of it. That is the truth of it. Don't resist arrest. Don't come armed to a protest. We're not going to talk. We're not going to get into it. So she, of course, along with many others, are crying their brains out. But then I found this last night. Beautiful thing. And now, there is no room for fascism in this fandom. Every fan deserves to feel safe and welcome to events. There is no excuse for working with an organization profiting from ICE. Do not support Star Wars Celebration until they change organizers. Please share this with your friends. Tag creators. This is unacceptable. And there's a petition. Let's take a look at the petition in a moment. But we have boycott Star Wars Celebration. Mind you, this is in 2027. Remember, they're skipping it this year because they can't ever garner enough interest to do it back to back because it costs too much money with no return. Boycott Star Wars Celebration. Star Wars Celebration is put on by Reed Pop, which is owned by Relics. Relics has contracts with DHS ICE for $172 million. Reed Pop sells your information from Star Wars Celebration and feeds it to DHS and ICE. All right, we're going to stop right here. How delusional are you? Newsflash, your information has been sold 10 times over. Honey, this dumb whore has an OnlyFans account. Do you think OnlyFans hasn't sold your information to somebody? You wannabe slut? Do you think? All our information is out there. It's out there. We've all been doxxed by these people to companies. Why do you think we get targeted stuff in our emails and our why do you think X targets you with certain types of ads and posts? Because it's already out there. But oh my God, they're going to feed it to DHS. Guess what? I am a law-abiding American citizen born here. I have nothing to fear from DHS and ICE. And if you are an immigrant who came here legally, you have nothing to fear from DHS and ICE. Because you're an American citizen. If you came here illegally, you've broken federal law, and we're going to kick your ass out. That's just the truth. This affects fans who are international immigrants and people of color. Newsflash. Your celebration that you just held in Japan, they have some of the strictest immigration laws in the world now. And it's very hard to get any type of visa to visit there because they're sick of this shit right here. So immigrants, illegal immigrants. And guess what? People ain't spending money to come to Star Wars Celebration. That's just a fact. That's just a fact. We are calling for Star Wars Celebration Lucasfilm to drop Reed Pop. Do not buy tickets. Do not attend. Demand better. Demand better, Senator. Tell Lucasfilm fan safety comes first. All right. This is total fantasy world insanity. This is complete crazy, delusional moron behavior. Low IQ, room temperature, moron behavior. And these are the people. This is the primary part of this discussion now. These are the people that Disney Lucasfilm wanted instead of us. These are the people who they made Disney Star Wars for when they packed it full of agenda, when they packed it full of propaganda and identity politics and all that stuff. They bent the knee to this wannabe whore and all the morons like her who are literally all over X the past 72 hours screaming F this, F that. That's who they made it for. You get what you fucking deserve. When you peddle to activists, and that's what these people are, they are activists. When you peddle to activists, activists are not fans. They do not care about the IP they are attached to like parasites. They care about injecting their disease, like the parasites that they are, into the IP franchise that they have landed upon. They just want to infect it, to turn it into another vehicle for agenda. They are not fans. None of them are fans. A real fan would not talk about this. A real fan would just want to go to Star Wars Celebration and talk Star Wars. But no, these people must have their ideology represented in all aspects of Star Wars. Otherwise, you're offending them. Otherwise, you're an enemy of immigrants and people of color and women and retards and troons and This is the modern audience, not fans. Plain and simple, not fans. I shed no tears for Disney Lucasfilm. I shed no tears for Disney Star Wars as it continues to spiral down the drain, because these are the people they wanted. These are the people they asked for. They didn't want me and my 30 plus years of loyalty and knowledge and love and devotion to Star Wars, because I don't want to cut my penis off or pretend that people who cut their penises off are women or believe in communist Marxism or believe in breaking laws. They don't want me. They don't want you. They don't want real passion. They want morons. They want tuka slickers. They want people who will sit under the dog and eat the shit. That's what they want. They want programmable robots. Problem is, activists cannot be programmed by you. They're programmed by their puppet masters, the thugs, the commie Marxist overlords who use them for retarded shit. I guarantee this was not her idea. She was funneled this shit. This was given to her to push, and a number of others as well. Now let's take a look at this petition here. Hopefully it doesn't dox me. Okay, it didn't dox me. How many they got? 442 signatures. Wow! Since last night. This has been up for at least a minimum. Hang on, let's check when she posted this. All right. Genius here posted this yesterday at 7:30. So it's been in another 6 hours. It's been 24 hours. In nearly 24 hours, these morons have garnered a mighty 442 signatures. Disney Star Wars stands, activists to the T. You get what you deserve. This is your fan base, Disney. This is what you wanted. This is why Disney Star Wars is dead. And also, let's take another step back here. One thing. Contracts with this. Okay, that $172 million, that's a living. That's people earning a living. That company, that's employees living life. But here's the other darker side of all of this. And forgive me for stepping into this realm, but it must be said when we talk about these people who are screaming F this, F that, who are screaming about the lives of two aggressive activists who attacked law enforcement and fucked around and found out. They cry about this. They make up lies about people being kidnapped. We have documented evidence, quadruple checked reports of 35,000 people murdered in Iran over protests, real protests under a real totalitarian dictatorship, murdered for seeking freedom. All protests squashed, not allowed to protest online and stuff like that. They come in there, they shoot you in the hospital, they throw you in body bags while you're alive and toss you in pits. That's what's going on in Iran. If we lived in a true totalitarian dictatorship, the fascism that all these idiots cry about, they wouldn't be able to do this. The secret police they call ICE and all that stuff, they would have come to their doors already and they would have all been disappeared. Because they are, as the next part of this discussion, they are terminally online. They are terminally online, making it very easy to find them. Not hard. Because they literally post every hour on the hour. It is a legitimate sickness. And it's expanded universe. Expanded universe. You're going to correct. Get it right. Expanded universe. Anyway. Terminally online. It is mental illness. And with the announcement that mental institutions are going to be reopened, there's a lot of business. Because, listen, am I online a lot? Yes, because it's my job. I make money doing this. I'm trying to earn a living, trying to build a business from scratch, from the ground up, from the bottom. People who are on X, the majority who post the traction like that, that's not their job. They do it to scream and shout. And as I said earlier, get that endorphin rush, get that dopamine hit of, oh my God, somebody hit the like button. Oh my God, look how many views I got on this post. Oh my God, everybody's agreeing with me. Ah! That's why they're there. Because they have a sickness. They're degenerates. And you notice they always have the same flags. They always have the pronouns. And the mental illness it doesn't just enter, it extends to the so-called celebrities who must post all the stuff. They must take that selfie video and post it on Instagram and X. Yesterday, I saw several people who I didn't want to know talk like this, and it makes me hurt because I like their work. I own their work, voice acting and live and straight up regular acting alike. And it sucks. I don't want to know this. I don't want to know they're broken in the fucking head because it ruins my escapism. It ruins it. But they don't understand it. This is part of the terminally online. Terminally online. You say all this shit. Say all this shit just to get the attention, the fix. And it's sad. Because you know what? Some of us won't play the game with you. I'll troll a little bit, but I'll never reply if they do engage with me. And see, that's how you drive them crazy. Because they want to fight with you. They want to point and say, you're a fascist. They want to do that right now. They want to deepen their dementia, their delusions by arguing with you and maybe tricking you into saying something. So they go, look, fascist rhetoric. So if you troll them, like I do, and they do respond, and you don't say anything, it drives them more crazy. Because they need to spurg out. Because the spurg gets the attention. And it goes back to what I said earlier. They define themselves by these things. They define themselves by their ideology. They define themselves that Andor speaks to them on their radical revolutionary level. They define themselves when Tony Gilroy admits Andor created to speak to you on a radical level. They define themselves when all these insane artists take your icons, superheroes like Wolverine, Batman, Superman, Optimus Prime, all these Spider-Man, countless characters that represent heroism, and have them openly murdering federal agents. That gets them hard. That gets them excited. And it shows you that these people are insane through their terminally online sickness. Because they're screaming about lives lost, families, people kidnapped. But then they all jerk themselves off to art of people being murdered. They get all giddy and excited if they find out the name of a federal agent and dox them so their families are put in danger. Because to them, this goes back to the old argument. You call somebody a Nazi, oh, they're evil, and therefore anything that happens to them is okay. This is part of that sickness of demonizing your opponent so much that you are normalizing evil, normalizing harm. The harm they claim that those people are doing is the harm they want to visit upon people who do not agree with their ideology. And it's propagated through their terminally online behavior. I guarantee, if you see one of those accounts, go look at their page. They literally post every hour on the hour, or sometimes multiple times in the hour, spewing this stuff, spewing the programmed, indoctrinated propaganda that they have been fed. And then the celebrities go out and feed the propaganda, churn it higher, saying, oh my God, people are being kidnapped out of their homes. People are being murdered in the streets. People are being put in camps. No. Lies. Lies. Lies and propaganda. That is how it is. And that is why, unfortunately, we have to talk about these things to balance it. They have freedom of speech to be retards. I have freedom of speech as a law-abiding American citizen to counter their indoctrinating propaganda. Because that's all it is. It's sick. It's disgusting. And unfortunately, this is exactly what their puppet masters want. They want an incident so they can spin it out of control and create online mass hysteria. You realize there's no mass hysteria across the country. It's all focused on social media, where terminally online people push it. So I apologize for delving into this, but it has to be said. It has to be said. All right, let's get on with it. Once again, I remind you simply to say that I'm not as damaged as you think I am with this movie, Prof. You guys got it in your head that this movie was going to break me and I was going to be pulling my hair out. No, it was just another dumb movie that I watched. And here's how not bad it was. I didn't even watch it double speed. I watched it at normal speed. You guys have thrown worse shit in my direction that I've been forced to watch at double speed, or really 1.33 to get it done soon enough. I just rolled through that hour and a half like it was nothing. But there was, Prof, you don't understand, dude. You didn't cause me pain. There was no pain in this. It was just boredom. Boredom isn't pain. You guys need to reevaluate what you think is going to cause me pain. So, and it's not even really bad. It's just dumb. I mean, I know you guys want to have the fun. Oh, make Adam watch horrible shit. But, I mean, you're not going to get the reactions you think out of me when I get to the review later. I'm gonna roll through it pretty quickly. So you need to reevaluate. If you're really gonna try and get me, you got to try again, because you struck out on this one. You guys struck out on this one. I was just mildly bored. And anyway, all right. So let's see what else we got. I'm gonna have a drink though, and I think I got to blow my nose. Hang on. Bridget, I don't want anybody to ride me like a horse. That's disgusting. One native. I saw your screen cats. One native. Anyway, I'll blow my nose. All right. Let's see. Let's get to the news. Let's see what's going on in the news. Let's see what's happening. Let's refresh. Let's move on with the day. See what intermingling politics is going on here. Okay, here we go. Boop, 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 boop. All right. Variety. Hack star Meg Stater deletes TikTok after claiming new U.S. ownership is blocking videos about ICE platform, says distribution to the power outage. Once again, they just want to keep lying. Please, TikTok is still a fucking sewer. Give me a break. Look at that. It's just these people are all deranged. Every last one of them. Some dude is dead for music. Don't care. Joy Bubbles director Rachel Morrison and editors Bradford Thomason and Patrick Lawrence and their retro phone hacker doc. Sounds boring. Billie Eilish is ugly. Is ugly. Oh, she got tits bigger than her head. Doesn't matter. Her face got hit by the ugly tree, every branch down. Don't care what she says because she's insane anyway. High Guard, yeah, High Guard went live today. Or I think people are waiting for it to go live. Last I looked, a lot of live streams ready to play it, and I don't care. I'm not wasting my time. I don't play these hero shooter crap games. Don't play that shit. Don't care about BAFTA and WGA. Gall Doherty and the Celebrity Sex Pass. Well, that sounds boring. Amazon MGM Studios' Laura Lancaster and Nick Pepper exit as scripted TV restructures into genre-based divisions. Huh. We'll have to keep an eye on that one. Because Amazon, there's always a good chance an Amazon show can be good if the executives don't get involved. So I mean, so we'll see how that goes. If they're siloing all their shows, maybe we'll get some good stuff. We'll keep an eye on that one. I don't care about any of this crap. Oh my God, I don't care about JFK Jr. Don't care. A Handmaid's Tale sequel. The Testament sets Hulu release date. Well, bunch of wine moms get their porn back. Yeah, you're right, Kel. They're only going to have players because of the morbid curiosity. That's the only reason. And I mean, I saw a lot of big time streamers today were setting up to do a lot of big time gaming streamers were ready to do it, and it's just they don't care. They're just doing it because it will get them views. They don't really care. Don't care at all. It'll be funny after today, tomorrow. Why don't tomorrow we look at their Steam chart numbers tomorrow and see what the high was today, and then watch it plummet to nothing. Television Publicity Executives Committee announces 2026 leadership team. Whatever. Charlie's Angels 50th anniversary reunion. Pluribus Scrubs added to 2026 Pally Fest. LA Field. I don't know. Don't care. Don't care. Don't care. Don't care. Don't care about the Salman Rushdie movie. Kanye West apologizing for being insane. Well, stay on your meds, dude. Moving on. Let's keep going. Elon Musk X to be investigated by the EU over Grok's sexually explicit deepfakes. You do know that deepfakes existed before Grok, right? Deepfakes existed before. People were jerking off to fake porn of celebrities and people long before Grok. They just want to go after Elon because they can't control him. It's that simple. Anti-fascism musical Cable Street to open Brits off Broadway. It's really sickness. It's all sickness at this point. Trailer for Ivo Ferris. I don't give a crap. Rocks don't care. Netflix, Spain unveils. Don't care. Don't care. None of this is interesting or exciting. None of it's interesting at all. One more. We'll go one more. Let's see what else we got here. Anything? The Odyssey. Travis Scott appears in new TV trailer for Christopher Nolan's Epic. So we got a new trailer for Odyssey, and they showcased a black dude because there were black people in Greece during the Trojan War. I'm telling you, dude, the Odyssey, it's only 50-50. It's either going to be epic or total trash. It's one or the other. Ryan Johnson hopes Star Wars brings in fresh voices and filmmakers to tell new stories in that world as Kathleen Kennedy exits Lucasfilm. Yeah, what the fuck do you know, dude? You went in there to destroy the whole fucking thing. You could shut up and fuck right off. All right, that's enough of this. Let's go to IGN. High Guard goes live after post the game awards radio silence with full year of content already deep in development. So I guess it's live. It passed 6 minutes ago. I guess it's live. Why don't we pull up Steam chart and see what the current count is? Just right now. I'm curious. High Guard Steam chart. All right. Let's see what we got going on here. Check my browser. Thank you. All right. Currently, let's just over here. We currently got 70,000 people playing High Guard right now. 70,000 people. It's now 1:30 in the afternoon on Monday, January 26th. So tomorrow during live stream, we will be able to look at the 24-hour window of what it looked like on launch. So we will come right back here around this time tomorrow during the stream, and we'll check it out. We'll see how it goes. No, not there. So High Guard has begun. Resident Evil Requiem director gives definitive response to open world speculation. Dead wrong. So I guess they're not doing open world in Resident Evil. I guess that wouldn't work. From my understanding, it would not work. First big Arc Raiders update of 2026 adds solo versus squads matchmaking, Bird City, and more tomorrow. Still say you should have PvE servers. Ubisoft proposes 200 further job losses at Paris headquarters just a week after announcing sweeping game cancellations and studio closures. Why couldn't we have had that news yesterday when we covered that shit? Ubisoft firing even more people. It's going under. Let's check its stock. Let's check the Ubisoft stock right now. Let's check. Ubisoft stock. Oh, it's actually up from 91 cents to $1 and a penny. To $1 and a penny. It's actually up right now. Well, good for Ubisoft, but it's still $1. That's still massively pathetic and sad. Ugh. Actor says she lost 3 years of work and found out via the internet following Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake cancellation. Ha ha ha. Well, if you got paid, what do you care? If you got paid, what do you care? But no one will hear my beautiful voice acting. Well, honey, maybe your voice acting was shit, and that's part of the reason the game got canceled. Tomodachi Life, Living the Dream, Nintendo Direct announced for this week. Yeah, sure. Whatever. Nintendo developer legend Hideki Kono retires. I'm not aware of what he did, but I'm going to assume it was important. Looks like Rayman is returning in a new 30th anniversary edition for the PS5 and Switch. All right, serious question. Does anybody give a fuck about Rayman? Does anybody give a shit about Rayman? Please tell me. Please tell me. Because I sure as hell don't. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man director Sam Raimi says his versions of Peter Parker and Mary Jane have gone elsewhere. I don't know what that means. I'm not sure I want to know what that means. Why is everybody talking about Marvel Rivals and Kingsman 265 drama? Is everybody talking about Marvel Rivals and Kingsman 265 drama? This is the first I'm hearing of it. Don't you love it? Everybody. No, nobody. Marvel Rivals has found its customers, its players, and nobody really cares about it anymore. It's not the mass thing it was before. Harbaugh global release times confirmed, blah, blah, blah. Steam game apparently struck by DMCA takedown from Games Workshop, but there's something very unusual about Valve's message to the dev. Whatever. Star Wars Starfighter writer insists it's really a standalone with no legacy characters making secret cameos. That could be taken many ways. That might mean that there is no Rey in it. We already knew there was going to be no George Lucas Star Wars characters in this. Maybe that confirms no Mara Jade. No Mara Jade Skywalker. Thank the Force. Seriously, this movie is going to be dog shit. It will not do well. And it will be visible failure of Disney Star Wars. And we'll be there for it, but not in face paint with a baby Yoda in my lap. That's for the other crap. Terraria is still a thing, I guess. Okay. This is actually funny. Look at this picture here. First, Taika Waititi says his Star Wars script will harness a little bit more of the fun of the series' original films. First of all, he already said his script hadn't gone anywhere. And what an ironically good picture. He's got devil horns. He's got devil horns right there. Did they draw that in? Or is that just a coincidence? Because Taika Waititi is a piece of shit. He will ruin your franchise, your mythos in a minute, baby. Wow. You let him loose in Star Wars. Wow, that's going to make it even worse. He's going to make it even worse. This is embarrassing and leads to nothing. DC fans hit out at social media user after James Gunn responds to Sam Raimi Batman spammer. PlayStation Plus leak reveals February monthly game. Whatever. The timing didn't work out. Marvel's Wonder Man showrunner gives disappointing Hawkeye Season 2 update. Wonder Man, which will be dumped tomorrow all at once. And nobody's going to watch it. Nobody's going to watch it. So, despite receiving plenty of death threats, Return to Silent Hill director is open to making another film based on the horror series. I don't care. The Odyssey TV trailer reveals Travis Scott's speaking role, John Bernthal, and more Tom Holland. I'm just not excited for it. I'm really not. And more of this stuff we talked about the other day. We already talked about the boycott. Of course, throw out this almost said it. This piece of shit right here takes it up the ass. Robert Picardo escalates fight with Star Trek fans over Star for the Academy criticism. God, Picardo's become a clown. A total clown. Rumor, Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo snubbed at Oscars after press tour creeped out Academy voters. Well, them and everybody else. Welcome to the club. Master Universe trailer beats Star Wars Mandalorian Grogu 4-month total in just 2 days. Well, that's bad news for Mandalorian Grogu, and it feeds into what I've said, that Mando Grogu will do shit numbers. It will do shit numbers. 350 to 450. It's going to lose money. I'm going to cheer. I'm going to look like a fool in the beginning because I'll be dressed up like I'll be face painting the baby Yoda. And then I got to write that goddamn review before I can put out the real review. That's the worst part of this, that I got to put out the fake Stan review before I can put out my real review. That's the worst of it, honestly. I'm afraid of that. I really am. I really am afraid of that. I don't like that. All right. Whatever. None of this is important anymore. All right, that's the news. I'm sticking. And that was my camera, not the news. That was the wrong thing. Anyway. So, all right. Well. I guess here we are. We've got. All right. Do you guys want to do the article? You know what? Let's get chat. Maybe watch this reviews out of the way, and then we'll get to the article that Kratos says delivered to me for $15. All right. So once again, it is that time where y'all decide to just make me watch stupid shit, and you wonder if I'm gonna have a meltdown or anything like that. And this week for chat, maybe watch this reviews. You had me watch Tiptoes, starring Matthew McConaughey. I just forgot everybody's name. I had my whole thing built up, and I forgot everybody's names. God, that's my mind's already elsewhere. That's a problem. Gary Oldman and what's her name? Before she had all her horrible surgery. I just forgot her name, the chick. I totally just forgot her name. See, I got Gary Oldman before you said it. It clicked in there. And can't remember her name all of a sudden. Just completely blipped out on it. Kate Beckinsale. Yeah, Kate Beckinsale. Thank you, Kate Beckinsale. Okay, so you got Matthew McConaughey, Sir Gary Oldman, Kate Beckinsale, Peter Dinklage, Patricia Arquette, and a host of other famous midgets. Oh no, I said the word. I'm going to say the word again. This movie is about Matthew McConaughey, who is a normal-sized dude born to a family of midgets, and This movie should have just been a bit of a rom-com instead of this weird, serious drama that it was. If it had been a comedy, it would have worked if they had tried to be funny. But no, instead they went with, let's be serious about all of this. Let's try and make this some sort of statement on what it's like to be a midget in America and have your problems or stigmatisms, and then of course have a child, because the whole point is this: Matthew McConaughey is embarrassed of his family and the world he grew up in. He doesn't want to share it with his fiancée, Kate Beckinsale, who tells him at the end of the first act that she's pregnant, and he loses it because he is now afraid that he's going to pass on the midget gene. And the whole movie is essentially Gary Oldman's character, who's his twin brother, his fraternal twin brother, cucking him. It's all about Matthew McConaughey getting cucked by his brother eventually, who is more emotionally attuned to being a midget and a father of a midget. I keep saying it on purpose here. It's all right. So I'm gonna run through the main story here, and then I'll drop the comments that I see you guys already making. You're saying the same things I'm going to say here. Basically, Matthew McConaughey's character doesn't like the fact that Kate Beckinsale is pregnant. Gary Oldman's brother, his brother Rolf, I remember his name, Rolf. Gary Oldman's character Rolf is there, and he comes to visit after running into his whore girlfriend's current lover who beats him up. He goes to stay at his brother's place. He's not there. She meets him. She learns they're all midgets, and now she's worried and she wants information, and she quickly gets splained on how to be respectful to midgets. And it's just fastly downhill from there, because this whole thing turns Matthew McConaughey into the bad guy because he's afraid to have a midget kid. He wants, and there's politics slipped in here. It's written by lefties. So we'll just remind everybody, this movie's written by lefties. It's all slipped in there because it takes place in California. What do you expect? And so they're still going to get married. It looks like they're going to be together. They skip forward 9 months in the beginning of the third act. She's pregnant, this and that. And everybody's been introduced at this point. She's angry at her parents if they don't want to accept her new midget family. And then, boom, within a month of being married, she gives birth to the kid. And surprise, no, it's a midget. And it's got all kinds of problems from the get-go. It needs hormonal injections. They're going to have to do surgeries and that. And Matthew McConaughey's character has just like this super fucking meltdown. They're fighting, and then they separate. And she goes to live in Gary Oldman's log cabin in the middle of fucking nowhere, where in the few months that they're there, I guess, she gets cocked. I haven't gotten there yet. See, right there. This is all you fucking care about. Oh, the midgets are Jewish. That's all you fucking care about. That's all you really wanted me to talk about. I know. It's all you fucking care about. Grow the fuck up. Serious. I would have gotten to it. Jesus Christ. Sick of it. I told you last week, I'm sick of this shit. Anyway. So he gets cucked. Oh, you could still, he wants to actually try and make it work, but she's like, no, you're not allowed to be a part of this family anymore. You can have visitation rights, but I'm going to live here with your brother, who I now love and make out with at the end of the movie. And then, and there's all kinds of other random shit in this movie. You got Peter Dinklage and Patricia Arquette. Peter Dinklage, who's a French Marxist, for some reason, for some reason, French Marxism has to be on display in this movie so he can yell at the other midgets about being bourgeois. We need revolution. I'm pained by you, Prof. You're causing me more pain than this movie. You're causing me more annoyance and pain in this movie with this shit. Anyway, you've got, for some reason, he was going to kill a guy at a hotel for no reason. For no reason, he was going to shoot a guy in a hotel for no reason. He picks up the whore Patricia Arquette on the road, and they're together for over a year until she finally walks out of them. I don't know why. So there's this whole Patricia Arquette, Peter Dinklage thing in there for no reason. It eats up a good 20 minutes of this movie for no fucking reason. Why are they in this movie? There's no real fucking clue. And then, of course, there's the politically correct dwarf midget shit all over the place in this movie. It's really just there so you can learn about it. And Kate Beckinsale's character really is the worst. Because right before they get married, they're lying in bed. And it seems like they're coming to consensus. They're going to work on this, come together. And then she says out of the blue, I think you need therapy. I think you need to go get therapy because you have ambivalence to your family and midgets. Bitch, you've been hanging out with these people for a week and suddenly you're the expert. That was his life. And suddenly you give a damn. It's the writing is all over the fucking place. The performances are mostly shit. The only really good performance is Gary Oldman because Gary Oldman he's a chameleon. He can transform himself for roles. He can transform himself. And I believe him as Rolf the Midget. I believe him. But Matthew McConaughey is still just Matthew McConaughey. Kate Beckinsale with her fake American accent is annoying, but she's a terrible character. The women are all retarded in this, from the whore that sleeps with his uncle because she wanted to meet the leader of their movement. And then and of course Patricia Arquette is just the hippie commie. And then you have the racist mother, Kate Beckinsale's racist mother. Because remember, it's racism to hate the dwarves, I guess. But this movie's a mess. The direction, the shooting. There's one scene that really jumped out at me is very strange. Where at one point, Kate Beckinsale calls Matthew McConaughey while he's at work because he trains firefighters. He's an instructor for firefighters. And it's this weird close-up of her mouth while she's going, I want to go to this party with your family. Can we do this? And my thought is, what, is she getting fucked while giving this phone call? It was very sensual and weird. Completely out of place for already a tonally weird movie. And then they go to this party where David Alan Grier's character fucks Rolf's whore girlfriend. Yet at the wedding, they're back together. This is so many crazy fucking messaging about people. And these are all terrible people. And here's one of the most annoying things about this. In an hour and 30 minutes, you get no real character work on any of these people properly. I was looking at the time, elapsed time and watching this yesterday. At 45 minutes in, none of these characters have been properly developed at all. We're already halfway through the movie at that point. It was only an hour 30 minutes. No proper character development. And that's what I got to thinking. If this has just been some sort of wacky comedy about this dude and his midget family and his girlfriend finding out, it would have been they could have probably made it an entertaining comedy, but no, they chose to be a lecturing, weird piece of shit movie. And it was just dumb and boring. And when it was over, I went, and I moved on. Anyway, that's it. That's what you get. Tiptoes, retarded, dumb. Come at me with whatever you got next. I'm ready for it. All right. All right. So now let me see. What have we got here next? Oh, we have an article. The Room. Oh yeah. The Room. The Room is better because The Room is at least entertaining in its weird way. This was not entertaining. The Room is visibly bad. You have legitimately good to incredible actors in the movie. I mean, listen, Gary Oldman is a massive talent. Sir Gary Oldman is an incredible actor. He's retiring now, so he's pretty much done. But Kate Beckinsale, she had her moment of hotness. She knew her role for years. Now she's a freak with what she's done to herself. Matthew McConaughey is Matthew McConaughey. He's mid-level. He gets the job done when he's cast correctly as Matthew McConaughey in a movie. All right. But you had some good actors in just a terrible movie. The Room knows it's bad. So, well, I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, it's easy to dislike everything in this movie. It's just a piece of shit. It's just a piece of shit. Yeah. What? Matthew McConaughey did this movie to pay for his divorce. That's funny. All right. So there it is. I mean, that's it. That's why The Room is better. You have horrible people who should not be acting. That's why it's at least entertaining, because they know they're bad. And this movie is terrible because, Gary Oldman. Oh, okay. But here's the thing. Gary Oldman tried. He at least acted in this movie. He acted. Gary Oldman did. He morphed into a midget, and he changed his voice, his posture, his entire persona to be this. Because he's Gary fucking Oldman. He's incredible. Great. He's a chameleon. So, anyway, Rhoda has a set. So, all right, see, that would have worked. Make it degenerate and weird, and then it works. And then they agended it. So, yeah. All right. Let's get to an article. Kratos has an article for us. So, let's get this going here. Let's see, what has Kratos got in store for me today? What is this? Let me have a drink, and then we'll get to this. Read the super. I sent you an article that I think you'd really enjoy reading and discussing on the show. I thought that was just a private message because I didn't know you were going to be here. So, all right, here we go. Let me zoom into this for you guys. Epic burn. More Moorcock versus Tolkien. Michael Moorcock does not like J.R.R. Tolkien. He calls Tolkien a second-rate schoolmaster. It's hard to imagine two authors who have been more influential on the development of fantasy literature. So the reasons for this conflict bear some speculation. Okay, I'm not familiar with Michael Moorcock, so let me click on Michael Moorcock. Okay, I don't know who. All right, can somebody tell me who Michael Moorcock is? I don't know who Michael Moorcock is. Should I know who he is? With all my fantasy knowledge in fantasy fiction, should I know who he is? Because I don't know. Should I look it up now? Or are you guys going to tell me? I can look it up. We'll click on this. Hold on. No, that's an ad. I don't know what that is. Oh, thank you, Jed. Thank you. Okay. Okay. I don't know who he is. If he writes gay fantasy, then that's good enough for me. Listen, Tolkien is the GOAT. Tolkien. All right. Oh, you have no idea. Okay, here's the thing. All right, before we go too far, let me say this. Tolkien, he's the Elric author. I could give two fucks about Elric. No fucks given. Stop. Okay. Let me say this before we go to do this. Tolkien is the grandfather of fantasy, of modern day fantasy writing. Without Tolkien, we're not here. If those of us who want to write fantasy, he laid the foundation. The Professor is one of the greatest. He created a fucking language. He created a history for his people that was lost. Tolkien is a GOAT, and he needs to be respected. Okay? Whether you like it or not, Tolkien gets respected. And I will forever do that. Now, the only problem is sometimes you got to try not to copy him. That's one of your, if you are a fantasy writer, one of your biggest hurdles is shit. I got to do this different than Tolkien did it. And that's the challenge. Anyway. All right. So Michael Moorcock doesn't like him. Okay. That is an ugly ass miniature. I will say that. That is an ugly ass miniature. That's Elric. Well, that's a shitty looking character right there. It's a shitty looking thing. Okay. All right. Moorcock's criticism of Tolkien is encapsulated in Epic Pooh, an essay he wrote in 1978 and revised in 1989 and 2002. He slashes at the Lord of the Rings on a number of fronts: infantile prose, sentimentality, and happy ending. Oh, boo. Oh. Happy endings are important. You have to have a happy ending because the heroes have earned it. Fuck this nihilistic bullshit. I hate nihilism in fantasy. Oh, everybody's got to be miserable because the real world is miserable. Fuck off. Sentimentality, infantile prose. The professor was a student of language. Yes. Is it thick? Yes. The professor writes very thick prose, but it's well written. You cannot deny it's well written. But his main thrust is that the Lord of the Rings is a comforting lie that glorifies meek obedience to the powers that be. Is that a shot at religion? Because the professor was a religious man and he incorporated that into his writings. There's nothing wrong with that when done with respect and care and not preachy. And the professor is not preachy. The professor was not preachy. Although it takes the form of an epic, the values it celebrates belong to Hrothgar's Mead Hall or the Walls of Troy, but to that not to Hrothgar's Mead Hall or the Walls of Troy, but to the House at Pooh Corner. He's going to bring Winnie the Pooh into this, isn't he? Winnie the Pooh into this. According to Moorcock, Tolkien's books are deeply conservative and strongly anti-urban. Yes! Yes! The professor hated industrialization. It's well known. Tolkien despised modernity. He wanted more simplicity. And yes, he was a conservative religious man. There's nothing wrong with that. But you know what? He didn't beat you over the head with it. That's why it works. Which what leads to some to associate them with the kind of Wagnerish Hitlerism. Whoa. Wagnerish Hitlerism. Ouch. By conjuring up bygone era of happy peasants and wise old wizards, Tolkien is telling his readers, don't ask any questions of white men in gray clothing who somehow have to handle what's best for us. Oh my God, this is... All right, I can see why he chose this today. You must have understood where my mind was from the streams this weekend. This guy's doing exactly what they're all doing right now. This guy's doing exactly what they're doing right now. This guy is basically calling them all Nazis. Calling them all Nazis. There it is. I see. I caught on to what you were doing. Throwing this my way today. Tolkien saw some shit. That's why he had to write this. He saw some shit. It's part of it all. It's part of the whole thing. It's yeah. Ultimately, these books amount to mildly anesthetic British garbage. Thanks to Tolkien, the bulk of English fantasy seems to be written by rabbits, about rabbits, and for rabbits. You know what I'm hearing? I'm hearing jealousy. I'm hearing jealousy that 100 years later, the Lord of the Rings and all things Middle-earth are still read and praised and passed on, and you have to go deep into nerd culture to know about fucking Elric. You got to go deep in there. to know about that shit because nobody gives a fuck. Tolkien, who died in 1973, never had a chance to reply to Moorcock. See, coward. He did it in 78 after the man was dead. Coward. Never had a chance to reply to Moorcock, but a thoughtful rebuttal was published by Brian Murphy at an excellent fantasy literature website, The Cimmerian. Murphy has no cheese for Moorcock. He strongly refutes the idea that Tolkien glorified war or shied away from portraying of death. But his central point is that Moorcock misread The Lord of the Rings when he claimed that it was marred by a happy ending. For Murphy, the ending is unhappy. He's right. The ending is bittersweet. Let's examine the ending. All right? Let's examine the ending. Frodo, so damaged by what he has gone through, so changed, warped by the One Ring and the wound and all that kind of stuff, he cannot stay in the normal world. He has to leave behind his family and friends and go off. He has to go. With Gandalf and the elves. Gotta go. Can't stay. Gotta go. And if we go a little farther, the elves abandon Middle Earth, go back to Valinor, because the penance has been served. The dwarves literally all die out, except for Gimli, who goes with Legolas to Valinor as well, because he earned his place there. But all the dwarves die. It is a sad, bittersweet farewell to grander times. I mean, you think about it. Tolkien is talking about a farewell to these softer, grander times, these beauteous times, because here comes in the industrial age. We can't. He hates it, but he knows it cannot be stopped. Humans will now rule Middle Earth, and it will continue to spread out and grow and industrialize. It is a bittersweet ending. It's a happy ending. People survive. Sam will live on. The Shire will live on. The hobbits will become midgets as they breed with humans. You understand what I'm saying? This state, it's not a happy ending. It's a bittersweet ending. Bittersweet. Here's what Mr. Murphy says. I would argue that the victory over Sauron is only a temporary reprieve against the encroaching dark. This is the great sadness of Lord of the Rings. Magic has left the world. The great evil of the Third Age is defeated, but its void will be filled with other more banal but equally sinister incarnations of evil. Yeah, I mean, the last battle is still to come. There are two problems with Murphy's analysis. The first is that he avoids Moorcock's main criticism. Although happy endings are part of the attack on Tolkien, Moorcock's focus is on Tolkien's political message. The Lord of the Rings asks us to defer to old men in gray clothing. Not that I think there's no answer to Moorcock on this. I think I already answered that. In fact, I think Moorcock has entirely misread Tolkien on the issue of politics. In reality, old men in gray clothing don't fare so well in Lord of the Rings. Saruman and Denethor are the prime examples. Both pose as wise leaders only to betray those who rely on them. But even Gandalf isn't infallible. Oh yeah, Gandalf gets a lot of shit wrong. He is frequently stumped, as in Moria, fooled, as by Saruman, and foiled, as when crossing the Misty Mountains. Indeed, one of the most striking things in Lord of the Rings is that there is no authority figures on the side of good, no religion, little government, and few leaders. Theoden is old, Boromir is cracked, Elrond is indifferent, and Aragorn is reluctant. Middle-earth is a vast wilderness, not a well-ordered Tory estate. I don't see any reason to argue that. But Aragorn eventually nuts up. I got to blow my nose real quick. Hang on a second. Okay, there we go. I don't agree with that, but Aragorn eventually nuts up and unites humanity. He will unite humanity under Gondor. My view is Moorcock's attack on Tolkien fits into a larger pattern of Western literature. Harold Bloom, the literary critic, pioneered an idea called theory of influences. Although Bloom was writing about poets like Keats and Yeats, His idea Yates. His idea applies just as well to fantasy literature. Bloom's theory is that when a young poet establishes himself, he is compelled to misread and criticize the very writers who influence him most. Without this misreading, the young poet would be paralyzed by his own sense of indebtedness and unoriginality, as Bloom wrote in The Anxiety of Influence in 1973. Or before we read that, I already kind of mentioned that. What did I say a couple minutes ago? I said, if you are a fantasy writer, Tolkien was there first. You can't get around him. He's there. He did so many things first that you have to take it all in, and you got to find your own approach to it. I have done that in many ways. I have tried to do things differently than what Tolkien did while using him as a foundation, because, as I said, you can't get around him. Everywhere you turn, if you're writing a fantasy novel, there is J.R.R. Tolkien in Lord of the Rings and his entire Middle-earth compendium. Can't get around it. So what do? You accept it. You learn from it. Now, I don't agree with what he's about to say here, probably. You don't criticize. You learn from it. And then you adapt. The best of us learn how to adapt. That's the ticket. Poetic influence, when it involves two strong, authentic poets, always proceeds by a misreading of the prior poet. An act of creative correction that is actually and necessarily a misinterpretation. The history of fruitful poetic influence, which is to say the main traditions of Western poetry since the Renaissance, is a history of anxiety and self-saving caricature of distortion of perverse, willful revisionism, about which the modern poetry as such could not exist. Without which modern poetry as such could not exist. Once again, when I was young before I wrote, you could attack Tolkien. But once you understand, once you begin writing, you should. I disagree with this statement. You don't have to tear something down in order to get by it. In this case, you don't have to. In my view, this is exactly what's going on here. Moorcock. What a name. Moorcock is employing a self-saving caricature of Tolkien in order to give himself the elbow room to create his own art in the great man's shadow. To give us one example, both Moorcock and Tolkien are suffused with sorrow at the passing of an eldritch age of magic. Compare the end of Third Age in Lord of the Rings to the triumph of the young kingdoms in the Elric saga. Although this is the same theme in both authors, Moorcock mischaracterizes Tolkien's melancholy as mere sentimentality. However, this misreading gives Moorcock the ability not only merely imitate Tolkien, but to go beyond him in crucial ways. So Lord of the Rings ends with the passing of the elves and their end and their magic. But Moorcock's best novels begin with such extinction. Thus, Elric and Corum are each of the last of a dying race, making them outsiders in their own world. Unlike Tolkien's hobbits and elves, these outsiders become rebellious, disaffected anti-heroes. It's anti-hero bullshit. So sick of anti-hero bullshit. I know some people are horrified by Moorcock's attack on Tolkien, and I guess nobody likes it when mom and dad. Oh, I'm sorry, Moorcock is not mom in this relationship at all. But for me, I think Epic Pooh is actually a high compliment. Moorcock's misreading of Tolkien proves that both men are what we would call strong, authentic artists. Moorcock can kiss my ass. He can kiss my ass. All I hear is jealousy. Because I can look back in time when I started writing, and I could see the path I could take to be jealous of Tolkien. But I'm not. Because as I said, Tolkien came first. Tolkien came first. He is the foundation. There's no way around him. We walk on the road that he built. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for it. And the true creative finds a way to put a new spin on it without being disrespectful to the professor and what he created. So Moorcock could fuck right off. give a shit. And I don't want to hear, oh, Elric's good. I don't want to hear that shit. If somebody had told me about Elric a couple of years ago, I wouldn't know what it is. Because guess what? It hasn't, it's not as grand, I think, as anybody wants to believe. All right, let's check one more time here. It seems we have reached the end of our journey together today. How much to read the entire 14-page epic poo essay tomorrow? Is it a 14? Up at the 20. Up at the 20. And I guess we'll criticize that tomorrow. If that's what you want to do, well, we'll up at the 20. I'll do it for 20. I think that's fair. Since I've already been made aware of it, and I am already now predisposed to criticize it. So an extra $5. Anyway, all right. I guess we're done. We are done. What do we got today? I'm now going to take a short break, and then I got a video I'm going to work on. I have a video I want to work on today for the channel. Then tonight at 7:30, Jed and I are playing some Jump Space. Play that for a little while. And I don't know if we're going to do Stream of Conscious. Here's the truth. I don't want to do late night streams anymore. Ballbusters is one thing because we're going into the weekend, and I don't run the show. Dermy runs the show. I'm just there. I don't have to do the entire thing. But I just don't like doing late night stuff anymore. Not because I'm old, just because I lose my enthusiasm for doing it that late. I just kind of want to stop. I want to relax. Because I do this shit all day long, and I don't want to. When it comes to a point in a certain night, I just want to kind of stop and decompress. So I really don't want to do late night stuff anymore. That's just part of it. Anyway, so we got gaming tonight. Tomorrow we will have more Dragon Quest 1 HC2D remake, because you guys said you want to keep going. I am considering what to do for the next round of games, because we are once we get through this, and I'm going to ask again if you guys are going to want me to play Dragon Quest 2. Because I kind of just want to play these by myself. I feel like you guys are not engaged, really. I will run a poll to see what you guys want to do next. And I'll have some ideas, because we are still a little bit of ways from a round of serious streaming games that I want to do. Crimson Desert's not until March. There's no release date for Tides of Annihilation yet. And a couple other things out there that don't really have any coming out. So it should be. I want to make sure you guys are entertained, and I would like to do more gaming, but there's just so much going on with the channel right now, with everything happening, that I need to find time for it. Either way, so we'll see about that. Rest of the week, we'll see what happens. Of course, Thursday we've got the next Starfleet Academy episode. I can't wait. Gay Klingons. And then drive-in this week is Remember the Titans, when we put that up. And then we'll have Where No Man Wants to Go reviews on Saturday. And all kinds of stuff. Anyway, all right, guys. Thank you guys for joining me today. Hope you had a good time. You can show me by hitting that like button, subscribing to the channel, and leaving comments on videos and live streams. So until later tonight on Jump Space, we'll be on Jed's channel. Maybe here. I want to make sure. I'm kind of thinking I want to make sure that we don't suffer technical difficulties where we were muted for a long time. Would have been nice if we'd been told that. Most of the way through. So we weren't quiet for an hour, guys. Got to tell us these things. We don't know. So we'll play that. I may or may not stream this on the channel tonight. We'll see. Anyway, all right. So I'm going to send you guys over to Jed now for Rider Flight. So you guys have a good rest of the afternoon. I will see you later. Take it easy, everybody.